Three tomatoes are walking down the street. Papa tomato, mama tomato, and baby tomato.
Plain Ketchup presents.
Starring Lindsay Hinkle and Jamie Nelson.
So this is Plain Ketchup, is it? I prefer something with a little more kick.
Everybody's favorite condiment-themed entertainment podcast.
Put some hot sauce on my burrito, baby!
Hot sauce.
Nobody puts ketchup on a hot dog.
And you're listening to Hot Sauce on PlainKetchupPodcast.com. This month we are talking songwriting. I'm Jamie Nelson, and with me, my co-host, Lindsay Hinkle. What makes a good song? Is it catchiness, or telling a story, or conveying an emotion?
When I listen to a song, first I listen to the actual instrumentation and all that, and then I listen to the vocals and, like, the quality of the singing, and then I listen to the lyrics. And if I've liked a song up until that point, if the lyrics are cool, that's just gravy.
In Manhattan, there's this open mic night, but it's for people who are into, like, Broadway and cabaret and stuff like that. And there was this one guy who played the piano and played the violin at the same time. That was amazing.
You know, Ashton and I are going to do some open mic nights now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We were discussing a potential revival of Simple Assault, but that'd be a little bit difficult with you being on the other side of the country, you know.
You could Skype me in.
We could Skype you in. Oh my god, everything's coming full circle. But, no, I performed at my first open mic on Monday.
What did you sing?
I sang Creep by Radiohead.
Ah.
We're going to prepare a few more songs.
Very nice. What are you contemplating on? What are you thinking about doing?
Maybe that thing you do, because I want to clap and sing at the same time. I could do this forever, Jamie. I'm really good at it. And then, like, we were also talking about, like, the Beatles.
I can play Yesterday on the guitar. Pick that one, and then you can Skype me in and I'll play guitar.
We were just talking about what songs we could do, and she says, I like the Beatles. And I'm like, I like the Beatles, too.
What a coincidence. Did you know February is Beatles month?
Is it really?
Yes.
So happy Beatles Awareness Month. Well, is it Beatles
Awareness? Beware of Beatles. It's the anniversary of when the Beatles, like, took over America.
I'm going to blame the collapse of the American economy on the Beatles, like, letting go of their control over America. Because, I mean, you said they took over America, right?
Yes.
So if they had continued to reign supreme, we would not be in the economic downturn that we are facing right now.
I will blame Yoko Ono.
That bitch. So,
let's bring in our guest, Dan Brino.
Good night, white night. You're not coming out tonight. Good night, white night. You had me occupied.
So we have Dan Brino in the Skype studio today for Hot Sauce. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm good. Today we're talking about songwriting. So how long have you been writing songs?
Well, I wrote my first song when I was about 15, and I'm 26 now. So that's kind of the first song I wrote was like a, Britney Spears knockoff. So it was really something awesome.
What was it about?
It was called Busy Signals. So it was like, because I got a busy signal from your heart. It was just terrible.
Was it like telephone kind of?
It was totally like telephone analogies, something about a bill, nothing to do with cell phones. So it was like old school.
I remember the days of home phone numbers.
Yeah.
So how many songs have you written in the last decade or so?
Probably about 150. I'm not like really prolific. I mean, it's usually like they come in spurts, I'll sit down for a month and probably, in 1 month the most I've written is like 35.
Which of the songs that you've written is your favorite, would you say?
The one that's my favorite on this album is called I Want Everything, and it's got a tempo change. So musically, I think it's really interesting because it's got like this section that's real like Buena Vista Social Club, and then this other section we call it Disney Forest. So it's like sort of bipolar.
So do you write the music and the lyric?
Yes.
Awesome. What's your typical songwriting process? You said it kind of comes in spurts, but do you just like sit down and pound them out, or?
Well, I went through a phase where I kind of was all about lyrics, and then that's what I focused on. So it was like I was even putting like one of my English professors' poems to music. So I was all about that. But then this record it was a lot about like loops. And so I have this Boss loop machine. So my process was kind of like I started out with a ukulele, then I put some whistles on top of that, and then some percussion. And then I kind of built the songs like in layers. So lyrics, they're important, but the song was all about the feel and the beat from the beginning, and the lyrics kind of went off that.
For the listeners who might not be familiar with loops, what does that mean?
Well, I wasn't even really familiar with loops when I started. I mean, because mostly my main instrument is piano, and then I play guitar, and then, I've picked up ukulele and mandolin before. But loop machine, I have this Boss loop machine, and what you do is you step on a pedal and you play like 8 bars of maybe a piano, like a line of piano notes, and then you put a beat on top of that, or start off with a beat, and you just put layers. It's kind of like recording in a matter of like seconds. So it's all very impromptu and off the cuff. So
Wow.
Where do you find inspiration?
well, a lot of it's a blessing and a curse, because a lot of my inspiration comes from artists. But when I was making the record, my producer, Nielsen Hubbard, he actually said, we're throwing everybody out the window. We're throwing all your influences out the window. So I've been listening to artists like Kimbra, Ginger Safari, Dirty Projectors, a lot of those newer bands. But whenever we were doing the record, he said, we're just doing Dan Brino. And so it's all about what you want to do at the moment and what we feel. So influences were kind of out the window for this record.
So then what was the inspiration for the lyrics or the music if you didn't have musical influences to look to?
For this record, a lot of it was life experience. I mean, that sounds cliche, but especially the lyrics, the things that I've gone through as far as personal battles, and kind of taking it with two approaches, looking at it like in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way, self-effacing, and then also looking at it as sort of like a song like Swallow the Key. Those lyrics are really an in-depth look at like personal triumph and overcoming struggles.
Which comes first? I know you said with the looping song with the ukulele, the music came first and the beat came first, but generally, does the music always come first for you, or is it like...
Well, I mean, it's kind of, people start off with a hook line. If I have an idea lyrically for a song, it might start off with one line that I think would be a good thing to write about. And then I'll have a musical theme going on, and I'll try to put the two together. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But, if it doesn't work, sometimes when you're playing music, words just come out. And a lot of the songs on this record were like that.
Let's step back and talk about the headdress you're wearing. So you're wearing a really Egyptian-inspired headdress right now.
It's so practical to wear that in your home when you're just kind of lounging around.
Yeah.
No, the funny thing about that, I'm kind of weird like that. It's like, if I find, for this record, there were so many random inspirations, and that was part of the sound of it too. I mean, in one track, you've got trumpets and then whistles and ukuleles, and this crown's like sort of a visual. I mean, one day it was as random as I was like looking on the internet, and I said, I think I want a crown. And because, I was Miss Mississippi too. So I like, a lot of times that is sort of a topic of conversation. And so I thought it would be great to pick out my own crown, that didn't have rhinestones. So I cut this Egyptian headdress, and it's totally random, but I like it.
It's very pretty. So going back to the Miss Mississippi thing. So when were you in the pageant?
I was Miss Mississippi in 2005, so I went to Miss America in 2006.
What was that like?
It was super weird, and I mean, it was awesome because, we're on Jay Leno one night, and the next night Howie Mandel's in one of our rehearsals, and, I did a show with Ray Romano. There's a bunch of like name dropping stuff, but I think the coolest part about Miss Mississippi is like the little festivals that you go to, like Miss Sweet Potato, and then you're like signing autographs and, by a cotton candy stand. But being in Miss America, it's really weird dancing on national television in a Speedo. If you have never been nervous, you will be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Or maybe if you can do that, you can do just about anything.
How long did you do pageants for?
I sort of fell into them. I think I did them like when I was in 11th grade up until I was about 21. So I was Miss Mississippi when I was 20 or 21, and then I was done with them. So it was pretty early.
How long have you been playing piano?
I started playing piano when I was maybe in the 2nd grade. I started taking lessons, and then I really started getting into songwriting when I was about 15, and that's when I started like playing by ear a lot. But I started off studying Chopin and Bach and, all the stuff that most people do study. And I mean, I think piano is one of the most difficult instruments. It's definitely the basis for all of my other instruments.
You mentioned that you had done a show with like Ray Romano and all that, and I was looking at some information that Mike had sent, and there was stuff about Oprah and Macy Gray, and so like how many of these collaborations have you done?
Well, there's a lot. It's kind of weird because a lot of that happened. I mean, even like Oprah, I wasn't on Oprah, but we did this thing for the opening of the Boys and Girls Club, and she came to Kosciuszko, Mississippi, and it was she and I on the bill, and that was it. And it was so random because like one of my granddaddy's friends, I mean, it was like one of those connections. They're not even in show business, and so I showed up and I played this song that I wrote about Hurricane Katrina. And I remember I said, there's somebody really special in the room. And everybody was quiet. And I was like, it was my sister, and everybody laughed because she was, Oprah Winfrey's in the room. But, it was her, Ray Romano, Faith Hill, Morgan Freeman. I've sung karaoke with him.
So what song did you guys sing?
I don't even know. He just said, I just remember he said, I like you. You're a country girl. And gave me a big hug. And I, freaked out because it's like the voice of God.
Right.
So what's next for you?
Well, for right now, it's all about the record and promoting it and, seeing if people catch on. I know it's definitely a quirky record, but it's, it's definitely me. And it's probably out of all the things I've done musically, I mean, it's the most exciting. And so right now, that's kind of what I'm doing. I just got my master's in music business from Berkeley in Boston. Kind of learned a lot from that. So it's going to be all about the record for the next year.
And the record comes out in February of 2012?
The CD release party is going to be March the 30th, but the record is like set, the date on iTunes is officially February 2012. But we've done, I mean, there have been like a videos already been officially released, and we're kind of promoting it through that.
And is this the first album that you are releasing?
Yes, as Dan Brino, yes. I'd like to tell everybody to visit the website. It's www.danbrinomusic.com. And the website, of course, I'm a graphic design major too, so I did all the artwork for the album. And the website's got all of the artwork. It's got this storybook that I wrote. I wrote the story of Dan Brino, and it ties all the songs together. And then all these illustrations are in the book. And there's that. And there's the music videos on the first page. That's definitely something to watch because it's just completely random. It's got the Egyptian crown, maybe even me wearing a beard. I'm not sure. But if you're lucky, you can catch that.
I listened to a few of the songs on Facebook, and they're really awesome.
Well, thank you.
How many songs are on the album?
There are 9 songs on the album. There are 7 that are like full songs, and then 2 are intermission, sort of interlude type things. And I did those like during the recording of the album. I did it on this omnichord that I got. That's like an instrument from the 80s, if you're not familiar with it, but it's like a electronic auto harp. And I mean, it's just the coolest little thing ever. But I wrote 2 little interludes, and that's 2 of the tracks on there. But there are 9 tracks in all.
So if you're going with instruments from the 80s, do you have any guitars?
Oh my gosh, I totally just got one like yesterday.
Did you really?
Yes. And it's a Yamaha. That's so funny that you said that because I waited forever from eBay to get it. And then the lady finally, it was like stuck in the mail. It took 2 weeks to get there. And then I played it for 2 hours when I got it. So it's awesome.
I have always wanted to play a guitar, but I've never had the opportunity.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely like looked in the mirror and thought, man, I do look cool with this on.
Yeah, that would be the biggest reason. Like, It looks so cool.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's not like a piano, you know, so it's not the easiest thing to play, but it sure is cool.
I imagine it'd be somewhere along the lines of like an accordion, where you'd think that if you played the piano, you'd know how, but you actually wouldn't.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for the interview today.
You're welcome.
Everybody should look out for your album coming out this spring, and yeah.
Goodbye.
I tell everyone everything, but you aren't everyone, so I tell you nothing. You make everything so gorgeous, and I have built myself a fortress. Don't save me till you break me. So good night, white night. You're not coming up tonight. Good night, white night. You had me at goodbye. That's the key to my bravado. I'm spellbound by the hellbound. Bleeding the sheep in the wolf's clothing. Bare your teeth, but keep beneath that soft love I'm not sure of. So good night, white night. You're not coming up tonight. Good night, white night. You had me at goodbye. You had me at goodbye. You had me at goodbye. You had me at goodbye.
You want to record a conversation while I do some laundry folding?
I just recorded that conversation. What?
Are we done?
Sure.